When the entire world trembled at the name of the Mongols, there arose on the land of Hindustan a sultan who didn't just defeat his enemies, he shattered their very backbone. At his command, the armies of Delhi were ready to play with death. There was strategy in his every move and a storm in his sword. During his reign, the Mongols thought 100 times before crossing the borders. I am talking about Sultan Alauddin Khilji, a name that even today echoes as fear for the Mongols. The year was 1299. The Mongols dreamed of bending Hindustan to their will. On the borders of Punjab, two of their fiercest commanders descended. Thousands of Mongol horsemen advanced like flames, fire in their eyes, destruction in their intent. But Hindustan was not silent. Delhi was ready. Sultan Alauddin Khilji sent into battle his most powerful general, Zafar Khan. He turned war into doomsday. With every strike, the Mongols scattered. Every scream recorded their defeat. Swords clashed, heads rolled, and a brutal battle unfolded. Thousands of Mongols were killed. Those who survived were chained and dragged through the gates of Delhi. Where the Mongols had dreamed of conquest, their corpses now told a story of defeat. Hindustan was no longer a dream. It had become a nightmare for them. This was not just a victory. It was a declaration rising from the ashes of Mongol arrogance. Just months after defeating the Mongols, Alauddin Khilji turned his attention to another challenge. In Rajasthan's Ranthambore sat a warrior king, Hamir Dev Chauhan, who had never bowed before any sultan. Delhi spies brought news. Hamir Dev was preparing for war. That was enough. Alauddin declared, Ranthambore must fall, or rebellion would spread like wildfire. A massive army of 300,000 was assembled. At its front stood three legendary commanders. Malik Naib, a strategist whose plans made defeat impossible. Malik Kafur, a fearless general who treated the sword as devotion itself. Zafar Khan, the terror of the Mongols. Like a storm, they marched toward Ranthambore. The fort was besieged for 3 months. It stood atop a mountain, nearly impossible to conquer. Its strength wasn't just stone walls, but unbreakable will. The Sultan didn't attack with swords alone. He used strategy. He studied the land and diverted rivers, cutting off the fort's water supply, the lifeline of any fortress. Inside, Hamir Dev declared, I will die, but I will not surrender. The final battle began. Inside the fort, preparations for Jauhar self-immolation began. Outside, Delhi's army launched the final assault. On a stormy night, the gates were broken. Hamir Dev fought bravely till the end, but victory belonged to Alauddin Khilji. Inside the fort, the queen and thousands of women leapt into fire. Standing atop the fort, the Sultan declared, Ranthambore is now Delhi, and Delhi can never be broken. Then came another campaign that would change history. The year was 1310. The target, Warangal, ruled by King Pratap Rudradva of the Kakatiya dynasty. A powerful ruler and possessor of a treasure that would shape history, the Kohinoor diamond. A gem so legendary that empires were destroyed chasing it. Alauddin Khilji knew its value. He sent Malik Kafur. Warangal's fort stood strong, massive walls, immense wealth, and royal pride within. But every wall has its destiny. For 3 months, the fort was besieged. Despite fierce resistance, Delhi's strategy prevailed. Warangal fell. When Malik Kafur returned, he didn't just bring victory, he brought a velvet box. Inside lay the Kohinoor. Its brilliance stunned the court. History recorded, as long as the Kohinoor adorned Alauddin's crown, the world bowed before Hindustan. But conquest wasn't over. The Sultan wanted all of Hindustan under Delhi's crown. Next came Bengal, a land of swamps, rain, and hidden enemies. A difficult battlefield where enemies were not always visible. Alauddin sent Malik Kafur again. Battles were fought in mud and rain. Elephants clashed, swords sank into the ground, But courage never faltered. One by one, Bengal's rulers were defeated. Gold, silver, and elephants were sent to Delhi. On the return, Malik Kafur was injured, his leg broken by a blow. The Sultan said, "You may limp, but you strengthen Delhi's throne." But the greatest danger wasn't outside, it was within. Some nobles in Delhi began plotting against the Sultan. The Prime Minister warned him. Alauddin didn't react with anger, he waited. Then he hosted a grand royal feast. That night became one of the darkest in history. Hidden daggers lay among fruit platters. At the Sultan's signal, hundreds of conspirators were killed on the spot. He declared, "Be loyal to the throne, or the throne knows how to take heads." Time passed, the Sultan grew old. His body bore the scars of war, his soul carried its weight. But the crown still rested on his head. One name now dominated the court, Malik Kafur. One night, Alauddin called him to the palace rooftop. His eyes, once blazing with fire, now held a fatting light, but his wisdom remained sharp. He said, "Kafur, you were my shadow when my enemies feared me. Your loyalty gave me strength. If I am gone, protect Delhi. Do not let it burn, let it endure." The next morning, a shroud emerged from the royal chamber. Wrapped inside was the final farewell of Hindustan's greatest power. The sun rose, but darkness fell over Delhi. It wasn't just a sultan who had died. It was the fall of a shield that had protected Hindustan for years. An era had ended. The throne remained, the crown remained. But the eyes that saw everything were closed forever. Alauddin Khilji, one of the most brilliant rulers of his time. History does not remember him merely as a tyrant, but as a sultan who defended borders, mastered politics, freed Hindustan from fear. His name did not fade, it became immortal. Even today, his presence feels alive in the winds of Delhi. The Sultan is gone, but his legacy lives on. Not just in battles, but in the foundation he built. Alauddin Khilji did not just fight wars, he shaped a united Hindustan. And though he is gone, his name still echoes through history.